It is a hot, steamy day at Memorial Park in Obetz, Ohio, as the Ohio Aviators await the San Francisco Rush in pro rugby action. Hello, everyone. Greg Franke along with Ricky Lopesher for this matchup. And Ohio, of course, has a share of first place now after beating the Denver Stampede very handily. San Francisco, though, they're probably out of the race as far as winning the league, but don't be deceived by that. They're one of the best teams in the circuit right now.
Absolutely. You have two very, very good teams that are fighting their stride. Both teams coming off a win. So let's look here at the log. As you can see, 27 points for both teams. The team winning now with a bonus point is gonna edge away quite a bit, which is gonna leave the other teams in the dust. Greg.
See, Denver has only one loss to Ohio's 3. They played one fewer game, but those bonus points are the reason that Ohio is in a tie for first place. Now, the Ohio Aviators coming into this game, they had one major loss in Taylor Howden, who had really injected a lot of life into their team since coming back from a knee injury, but he retweaked that knee. He'll be out this game. That'll be a loss, but they have Roland Suniula back from the USA Eagles, and he's going to be a big help.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You have two very experienced centers in the back line. The game plan would be to win some quick ball, be at the breaking points, and then get that ball out fast and quick.
Meanwhile, San Francisco, they're a team that had a lot of injuries at the start of the season. They also picked up some key players, but they'll be missing today. And Mills Mulaina, 100 caps with the All Blacks, and Pila Yonga, who's playing with the Tongan national side. But with so many of their players who were injured earlier back in the lineup and healthy, they're a much better team than they were when they lost the opening game of the season right here.
Absolutely, and I mean, let's look at their track record. Last two games, they've won convincingly. What you will see from them is they're a very structured team. They're going to be competing in the line-out specifically. Very dangerous team, and if they can get the ball out the back line for Ohio, is going to have to defend really hard.
San Francisco should also have some confidence. They defeated Ohio at San Francisco the last times that these two teams met. The Ohio Aviators and the San Francisco Rush in pro rugby action coming right up. Back at Memorial Park in Obetz, and they just had the high school Ohio State Rugby Sevens Championships today prior to this game, and a number of teams winning fine trophies to put in their cases, and now we've got a crowd on hand to watch should be an excellent game here in pro rugby. Here's a look at the Ohio Aviators lineup, and they've got a lot of outstanding talent on the squad.
Yeah, no, one of the players to look forward to today is the number 2 hooker Fawcett, also known as the Butcher. So needless to say, it's quite a force there in the back.
Reichard Hatting of South Africa, the 9, one of the great players that they added. Zach Mizell, we'll keep an eye on him at the 10. He's trying to fill big shoes in Taylor Howden's, and if he can do that well and get the ball out for Waldock and Suniula, they could really go.
Yeah, that center combination is going to be very, very dangerous today. So keep an eye on 12 and 13 for sure.
Meanwhile, San Francisco, we look at their lineup, and one of their keys is Patrick Latu. He is a very, very strong runner up front. And Supieli Sakalia, he came off in reserve role and played extremely well in their win over San Diego.
Yeah, the loose trio on both sides are going to have their hands full as we go in here to the back line. Same thing. It's if you look at that center combination, they're fantastic. It's going to be quite the show if you see the two backlines face up today, Greg.
Volney Rouse, the second leading scorer in the league, and Areni Ai also very key players for them. Let's take a look at your keys of the game, Fricky.
Yeah, as you can see for Ohio Aviators, they have to dominate the breaking points. Their loose trio is very good, as we've seen them the last couple of games. There's going to be strong defense from the Ohio backline if they want to win, and then the fitness is going to play a tremendous role. For San Francisco, they have to secure the set pieces, the lineouts, as we mentioned earlier, the scrums they will have to dominate. They need the clean ball. They need to run that back line of them. They like to run the ball from just about any place on the field. And if they want to do that, to win, they're going to have to pull it off. And once again, the fitness, it's really, really hot and humid here today. And if your fitness level is not up to par, you're going to feel it in the second half.
Well, Ohio's fitness level certainly is up to par. They proved it last week when they went to Denver, and they played in very similar conditions. In fact, it was 106 degrees, and they totally dominated that game on the road against Denver. Paul Barford, the head coach for Ohio, he said that he thought they played well, but he still thought they were only at about 80% capacity. And when you beat a team like Denver as well as they did on the road, and you're only playing at 80%, you got quite a team.
Yeah, no, I mean, Paul being a native of England, he's got a lot of rugby in him. A fantastic coach, to say the least. Also he's backed up by the assistant coach, Paul Holmes, and I think one of the give credit to Paul Holmes for the reason these guys are so fit and in shape. He's very on his players to keep in shape and to stay in shape. And there you see the Demetrius Beach from Toledo, Ohio, and he'll be making an impact today on the field for sure.
And there on the other side, Paul Keeler. He used to coach the Golden Gate Club out there, and he says San Francisco might be the best area for talent in rugby in the United States. He's come over to this team, and they're really starting to gel now.
Yeah, Paul Keeler is probably one of the most recognized coaches in the United States. He's got a fantastic pedigree and back history from where he's coached from, and then he's assisted by two New Zealand coaches. So it's a fantastic coaching staff, and the reason that they are competing at this level, and the last two games they've won.
San Francisco is in the red, and Ohio in the predominant blue with red trim. And we are underway. San Francisco quickly on the attack. Their back line was very, very impressive in their victory over San Diego. Both these teams winning impressive wins, not only against good teams, but also on the road. In their last outing, San Francisco over San Diego, Ohio over Denver, and they're already across the 22 and threatening here.
Yeah, no, they're definitely on the attack. It's going to be the team who can draw first blood here, is putting a stamp on the game.
Deborah Ferris playing in at the number 9, and there they mishandle the ball, but a penalty called here on Ohio.
Yeah, the Ohio players is going over that offside line. They're just too eager to stop it. It shows good intent that they want to get the rush defense on there, but just too quick on the draw. So the penalty and the loud whistle there by Derek Summers. This should be a formality kick. It's right in front of the uprights, about 22 meters out.
And Volney Rouse, he makes this. It's important because an early lead is thought to be very critical, especially for Ohio. It's tough to give chase and to try to play catch up in weather like this if you get down early.
Yes, Greg. Both teams have won their last two games, so both of these teams are coming in with a lot of momentum. So it's a clash game. So the more points, or the first points, easy points, any points that you can get, early in the game is gonna count in your favor. As he's staring it down. Good connection.
And flag goes up right away. So Volney Rouse, who is the second leading scorer behind Kurt Marath of San Diego, who became the first player in pro rugby history to go over the 100-point mark last week in that game against San Francisco. Rouse there at 76, and he gets some of his points by kicking, and he scores tries too. Very versatile player.
Yeah, you know, a little fine bragging. I also belong in a club that we called You've Dropped, Placed, and Score. You know, all the possible ways to make points in the field, and he's most certainly one of those.
It appeared that Sam Finau, New Zealander, had a chance to break out, but the whistle sounded and pulled the play back.
Yeah, and early in the game, we're going to see the first scrum down, and it's always a fantastic tell of the intent of the forward. So keep your eyes on the scrum.
Finau was one of the players, one of the many players that were hurt for San Francisco early in the season. Scrum will be fed here by Sean Davies.
And Captain Courageous there feeding the ball.
He was out. He got carded. Was off the pitch for 10 minutes in that loss to San Francisco, and that was when San Francisco really made their move. Davies, a very key player for Ohio. They break through for a moment. It looked like they might get behind the defense. Keep it going with the ball pitched out to Pierce Dargan, who crashes into two defenders, and quickly at the breakdown, they're there for support. And out wide, there goes Spike Davis, and he takes it in uncontested for the initial try of this match. Spike Davis, second in the league in tries. He's got another one.
Spike Davis, you beauty. That he's very familiar with that corner. Let's have a look at this. Davis with a quick ball out, and they're sticking to their game plan. Well dog, quick pop, and then Davis pins his ears down. You're not going to stop him. 5 points. Let's look at that.
That's his 7th try of the year, former SMU football player.
Yeah, no, fantastic athlete all around. So difficult to bring him down. One of the strongest right wings in the pro league. And let me tell you, if you don't wrap properly, it's going to take 1 or 2 guys, if not 3 or 4, to bring him down. Earlier today, I saw Davies practice his kicks from exactly that point.
Heard him called the try machine. I've heard him called the excitement machine. They give all kinds of nicknames to the players in this league, and Davis has certainly been one of the really exciting performers. There's the kick, and it hits the right upright. Just missing converting is Sean Davies.
You know, the funny thing is he was aiming for that and hoping that it would curl in a bit more. So
sometimes they play a game where they try to hit the post, and coaches think, I don't want him to get too good at that game. It'll get to be a habit.
That's correct.
Aaron Spike Davis there.
First try of the match then belongs to Ohio Aviators.
And they collect the kick. And will try to go right back on the attack. Very often when you receive the kick, the other team will try to chase and force you in an error, but if you can get going again like this, you can keep that momentum going. And once more, Ohio is on the move. Davis breaking a couple of tackles, surging forward before he was stopped by Latu, Patrick Latu, number 2 for San Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco have to be very careful not to go offside there. They're right on that line. And Spike Davis again, like I said, it's going to take more than one guy to bring him down if you don't wrap properly.
Gives the ball off to Davies, and they try to work the ball out wide. That's a big part of their strategy, and they get Walduck and Sunil working together. It's all the way out wide left, and once again, they are going to score. As Alex Elkins, who's been another try machine of late, another ex-football player, has scored again, and Ohio leads 10-3.
Yeah, no, he's been taken to this game really, really well. Let's look at this try again. Look at the handling skills in the gap, the quick hands. And then around he goes underneath the goal. 5 points. Alex Aitken, as we saw in their last game here at home, you know, these wings go look for work. Ohio is really blessed to have these 2 talented fellows on the outside.
Elkins played at Oklahoma State. And he has been a devastating ball carrier. He's really started to come to the forefront in recent outings for this Ohio Aviators team, basically about the time since they were called the Aviators.
That is correct.
He's really been flying. And Davies, now this is a little bit longer, but a much more propitious location on the field to try to convert. Not such a severe angle. And he puts it through. And so after San Francisco got off to that early 3-0 lead, Ohio has come back with 2 tries in which they made it look easy.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think what we should take from this is the game plan was to hit it hard, to win at the break points, which they're doing now, and then the quick ball out to the back line. You know, executing it was what it was about, and they did, and it's 10 points on the board because of that, or 12 points for that matter.
They really felt that Waldock and Suniula would be a great combination. They indeed were. And as they worked together to get that ball out to the flank, it was just the way they drew it up. Kicking for territory and taking it midfield, and here is a good open field runner in Martin Talapusi for San Francisco. Number 15 laid the ball off for Junior Halu. He's the one playing in place of Mulaina, the 100 capped All Black player with tremendous experience for the rush, and a whistle there.
Yeah, no, once again, Ohio, the back line going offside.
Clear space.
Just laying it that little bit too flat, just too eager, and this should be in a very kickable position right in the middle of the field.
They need to step a bit, okay?
I would be, we'll wait for the call, but definitely going to go for goal.
And that would get them within a converted try once again. But you don't want to be trading 5s or 7 for 3 very long into the game.
No, for sure. Like I said, when the points are on offer, you got to take them. And Rose, this should be a very familiar spot for him. Very straight kick. There's a slight crosswind, nothing to write home about.
Rouse actually was capped for the USA Eagles back in 2010, but he never really got further opportunities, so he ended up renouncing that and playing for the Philippines. And he's actually played for the Volcanoes, the Filipino national side. And was an outstanding player overall for them and here for the San Francisco Rush. Struck that ball extremely well, and once again slices the uprights. And it's 12-6, comforting for San Francisco, and that they're back into the game again, just a converted try away from taking the lead. But I don't think that they can be too pleased with the way this first 10 minutes has gone.
No, you don't want to give away 2 tries this quick. Now, we got to remember, once you get 4 tries, that's a bonus point. So Ohio, 2 tries away from that magical bonus point, which they, you know, which they're craving. Kickoff from Davies.
You get a bonus point for being within 7 points in a loss too, and Ohio's always been close in the games that they've lost. In fact, many times they've seen victory turn into defeat right at the very tag end of the match. San Francisco on the attack now. Their back line, once they get moving, they can be devastating, and here they go, working it down the line. Talapusi there at the halfway line, where he's stopped by a gang of Ohio tacklers. They want to try to draw them into the break point and then get the ball out wide if they can, get that backfield moving.
Well, the tackler didn't roll away, so we can see the penalty.
San Francisco starting to look a little bit more efficient on offense now for the time being. And they play the ball forward. Try to run onto it, but Sean Davies there with good hands. He's able to corral it.
Well, what happened there was when the penalty was awarded, the Ohio side didn't fall back 10 meters, so there was no advantage. So once again, there's a penalty, and I think Rose will look at the goal, and so he does.
That's why it was crucial for Davies to field that ball, so there was no advantage. But again, they have a chance to put a 3 spot up.
Yeah, literally the same spot, maybe just a little closer this time.
It shows a lot about San Francisco's mindset. They're not too interested in kicking for touch and trying to ram it in for the 5-pointer.
No, that's called percentage rugby. At the end of the day, the points are there, you take it. There's no need to do anything stupid. The points are there to be taken.
Let's say rash.
Well, it's rash is maybe you know, I shouldn't be so harsh on them, but you know, the points are there, so take them. And at the end of the day, like you say, if this goes over, that's only a 3-point game.
It's similar to American football, of course. You got to decide whether to kick the 3-point field goal or go for a 4th down. And when you got a kicker like Rouse and it's practically automatic, that's a factor.
Yeah. Well, this time it was to the right, so they missed that one. Scoreboard will stay the same, 12-6.
Looked true when he kicked it. The flag failed to come up. So it is 12-6, and that's an ace in the hole they usually have. In fact, the last time San Francisco played Ohio, Rouse hit 6 out of 6 conversions, and he was named the man of the match for San Francisco.
Yeah, that's quite cunning. You can kick like a machine.
And it looked like he was doing that again today, but that last one stayed across the face. And the score still 12-6. Those could be an important 3 points. San Francisco lost. They come again, attacking the blind side.
Great defense there from Ohio, forcing the back line to the sideline.
And they work it out for Latu. He's a real bruising ball carrier. Former football linebacker and captain of the U20 side for the United States.
You're going to get called back for the knock-on.
It appeared that he went into touch at any rate, so that short-circuited that attack.
Yeah.
Take a look here. He mishandled the ball, so there's a knock-on, and then he's on the touch line either way, so name your poison.
Yeah.
Handling the ball, going to hand effectively will be very important for San Francisco, because when they get a chance to go on the move, they've got to take advantage of it in this match.
They do, but it's the cross defense from the defense structure for Ohio is fantastic as they push the back line for San Francisco to the sideline, using the sideline as a defender. So great defense from Ohio.
Certainly limits your options when you're hemmed in near the touchline. Davies feeds to scrum. Aviators out with it. Here they go again. There's Davis on the move. He throws a dummy, surges forward. They finally bring him down.
Yeah, incredible. Looking for work on the other side.
But they get it to Elkins now on the left. Elkins, look at that. 3 San Francisco defenders are required to drag him to the turf.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as his shoulder hit the ground, he was reaching out and knocked the ball on. But yeah, from one, let's talk about it. Yeah, from the one wing to the other wing. Spike Davies looking for work, finding himself in the back line, and then meeting up with his fellow wing. Fantastic rugby. Great backline play.
Big boys on the San Francisco side. They're having to labor overtime to bring down guys like Elkins and Davis.
But Elkins and Davis, I mean, just their sheer build.
There's actually a Davis and Elkins college. Maybe they should start a rugby team in these guys' honor, if they haven't already.
Well, there you go. But I mean, they're such beautiful athletes. I mean, they extremely difficult to bring down. 2 powerhouses on the outside. Just can't say enough about their talent.
Krasmirovich, Pistol Pete's dad, coach basketball. There was his first job. And scrum going to San Francisco.
Yeah,
but Ohio comes out with the ball, then a whistle sounds before anything really begins to materialize.
There you see Richard Hatting from South Africa, from Pretoria.
He's another one of the great additions that they had, along with Dominic Waldock. Taylor Howden came back. They had to wait a while to get those guys, but they made an immediate impact.
Yeah, no, Rickard, or Ricky as they call him, you know, just a fantastic one, another great athlete, like you said. They just strengthened that loose trio. As he's standing at 6'5", 225 pounds, so adding an extra option in the line-out. So for him being that structure, standing in the back of the line, it's just that's another jumper.
Ohio got off to a good start at San Francisco in the last match. They were ahead 8-7 on the road, but then they made some key mistakes. They gave up 2 gift tries and almost a third. They had a 6-on-1. San Francisco didn't convert, and Ohio could never really get back, although they made an attempt in the second half. Trying to avoid a similar fate today. That scrum collapses.
Yeah, that's the that's pressure right there. The two front rows meeting up. The pressure, something's got to give, and unfortunately for San Francisco, the referee adjudicated that they brought that down. And this is very interesting. Instead of going for goal, they kick for touch, and they're going to have a line out right about 5 meters from the try line.
Well, this goes to what we were speaking to earlier. I think Ohio is very confident that they can.
That's right, we got the power.
Get it in from this distance. So they eschew the 3 and go for the 5. And they're very close now, a couple of meters shy.
And that's over.
They go over.
We're going to come back and form right on the side. We have an obstruction there. Yeah, no, we have an obstruction. We have an obstruction penalty, which is number 4, coming from the side of the ball.
So you heard the
No
referee
try.
there.
The obstruction
There was
try.
double
Original
banking or
penalty.
obstruction running. Ohio had a player running in front of him,
Number 4.
but there was a
They do that in American football, not in rugby.
yeah. You have to be bound, and he wasn't. But nevertheless, there was an infringement prior to that.
No downfield blocking.
And this is interesting again. They could go for 3 points. It's a penalty. Captain Spike Davis, Captain Courageous, decided to scrum down. So they're going to try to push them over here, Greg.
Despite the fact that a 3 would put them beyond the converted try, it would give them some strategical benefit. But again, I think they feel that they have the power
Crouch.
to punch this over.
Fine.
Well, it will bring them closer to that magical bonus point. But let's look at the scrum.
Davies with the put in.
That would be great.
Ohio scrum is holding up really good.
And they never really could get it out and find any open space.
Well, there was 3 points on offer. They went for the scrum, and the ball is turned around, and San Francisco is out of jail for the moment. They get to feed the ball into the scrum.
Well, there's always a risk entailed.
There's always a risk entail. There you.
I won't describe their decision the way you did earlier, but because I think there was every reason to believe that, hey, they could get that in, but
Yeah, no, I mean that's the smart rugby is you got to take the points. But then again, if you go for the option and you get more points on the board, glory to you.
in American football, there's a real school of thought that going for it on 4th down is the way to go more often than not.
That's correct. No guts, no glory.
San Francisco, they could get something going. They could take the lead, but instead the ball is stolen right back. And right over, they finally do get that elusive try off a turnover. Just after it appeared, as you said, San Francisco is temporarily out of jail. They're right back in.
Yeah, no, this is great. This the handoff.
That's number 5. That's Ryan McTiernan going over.
Yeah, Matieran going up in the corner.
6'4",
Had to make his way through 2 or 3 defenders.
6'4", 285-pound rumbler from New York.
And at the end of the day, the decision pays off because that's a 3rd try for Ohio Aviators with the kick to come.
Ryan McTiernan from Fordham University.
No, that's right. No. Guys, you good?
Could probably qualify to be
Jamie, you good?
known as a block of granite.
Here we go. This kick is going to be quite challenging. We remember the other one that was from the sideline hit the upright. See if Davies can navigate this one through the goal.
Well, a big part of rugby is taking advantage of mistakes, keeping the ball deep in your opponent's half, and They play it on, Ohio.
Yeah, Roos actually got too much boot on it.
Out kick the chasers. And now forward goes Davis, but the ball ends up in the hands of Talpusi. And
yeah, that
actually it ended up in the hands of Bill Fuka. One of the players has come back from injury. And
well, Davies have to be very careful because that could very easily be a card. And you might see the referee talk to him after this ball goes dead. The referee felt that it wasn't meant malicious. You kind of duck into it. Nevertheless, it is a high tackle, so Davies should be very careful.
He stepped in with the kind of tackle that you maybe see in the gridiron more than the rugby pits. Right, well, it's about shoulder level, I guess, but very, very close. And then he ended up getting a fistful of his jersey.
Yeah, I can tell you, Coach Paul Holmes will be, who saw that, will definitely have a word with him because I know he favors them tackling low.
Bennett knocks forward, advantage over.
Ball's kicked out to Ferrarini. Played in the Italian A side. Off the national side level, Italy's national side beating the USA Eagles by 1 point in a great match recently. And now they're getting close, about 10 meters out from the try line.
Working that blind side.
And the ball is offloaded, trying to force his way over is McTiernan. They'll still have to touch the ball down. And they run out of steam. They're going to take another chance at the crash ball, this time Ferrarini.
Ball's going to go wide.
Davies got it out. Here they work it out. Walduck. Pass out for Calm, and he dives his way over.
Calm puts on the cherry on the top. That is the bonus point for Ohio Aviators as he goes in for the 4th try. Well worked. They were working the blind side really, really hard. And let's look at this. And then it went wide. And then Walduck with this long pass. Boom, they go in for 5 and the bonus point.
Could have offloaded that ball to Sunayula as they did on the first try they scored, but he saw that if he went long with it, they had an unimpeded path.
Yeah, Sebastian.
And they scored it.
Yeah, Sebastian Calm had men, I mean, he had men on the outside too, but you know, the overlap was created and over he went for 5 points.
Said Calm has just been tremendous from the very outset of the season. Started off playing in the 8 position. He was tremendous in the game against San Francisco early from Lindenwood University. He also played 7s with the Kansas City Blues, was known as a try machine early in the year. So let's see if Davies can convert this one. A little bit better angle than he had on his previous misses.
Bit of a breeze. Comes forward.
Have to take that into account.
Struck it well. Flags. Goes up.
And went up that time, and it is 25-6. Ohio has never failed to eclipse the half-century mark in a home match. Are halfway there with still almost 10 minutes remaining in the first half.
Yeah, and you know, I think what's more impressive is securing the bonus points and 4 tries in the half. If anything, they couldn't have asked for more.
They just need to keep the intensity up here.
Keep it going. Still a lot of rugby to be played, and San Francisco would have to pull one back.
Very, very difficult for opposing teams to play here, not only for the travel. San Francisco, they had 5 connections. They had breakfast at 6 a.m. according to their internal clock. Very difficult, but also just playing here. It's known as the fortress, the taller grass. They're not used to the surface, the humidity and the heat, and a lot of challenges to coming on the road, especially from the West Coast, to play here at Memorial Park. San Francisco trying to get things going again.
Yeah, they're trying to run it.
Oh, what a hit. But they do offload it wide as they get it out for Jake Anderson.
That was a monster of a hit, and he's still down.
That was quite a collision, but a legal one. Big hit there by Ferrarini on Lainartz, Jeremy Lainartz from Central Washington University, a power in collegiate rugby.
Loud whistle.
Penalty, and they good for the quick tap, but they called it back. Let's take a look at this hit earlier.
Yeah, let's.
Manhandled him here, no doubt.
It's just time to perfection and lean into him with the shoulder. All legal with the shoulder.
Davis.
And he wrapped, nothing wrong with it. Boom, it takes him down.
That was the type of hit that might have well been known for playing football at SMU.
And as you saw there, he wrapped his arms around the player. Legal tackle.
Another, it's like player cramping up down there, which is also something you might expect on a day such as this.
Yeah, perspiration, a lot of sweat. It's really hot.
Breeze is the one salvation at this point.
Spike Davies there on your screen.
It definitely was a spike.
Well, San Fran, as the clock is running down with about 6.5 minutes to go, they need to get points on the board.
But they lost the ball off the line out. He's very close to it.
Yeah, it's going to be, there's a bit of a tit for tat. There's a knock on both sides, so we're going to see a scrum down, and San Francisco will get to put the ball in the scrum. Now, this is a very favorable position for them.
This was fortunate for them as they came that close to having that ball intercepted on the line out.
Yeah, they need to give the scrum a little bit of a left shoulder and then use that very dangerous back line of them.
They have not been able, they really put on a show in that game against San Diego. Two teams with tremendously talented and fast back lines. It was a highly entertaining match. They just haven't had the opportunity to show that here in this match so far.
Well, the rush defense for the Ohio Aviators has been brilliant, not giving them any space to maneuver in.
And it's appeared that they had running room. It was quickly taken away. They come up with the ball and try again here. Dished off to Anderson. Anderson forward, try to get players to the ball so that he can release to them.
Another penalty, and I won't be surprised if we have some words here. This will be a last warning. Referee said if this happens again.
He was playing in the second. Make an effort. Make an effort. Make an effort.
Talking.
Made me happy.
I'm showing you.
That's Sebastian Kalm trying to change the referee's mind, and as most rugby players knows that Greg never in the history of rugby have any player convinced the referee that his decision was wrong.
They seem to be very nice about it, but very firm. As they continue to work on the San Francisco players. They're just a couple of meters out now from the try line, but Ohio, very rugged. They try to go up the middle. And they get it off for Sam Finau.
They're inching close. That's a try line that you can see right there.
Put out by Ferris. They try to go the other way, but no daylight there either.
Can San Francisco get this over?
They really need to. Oh, what a hit! McIntosh just laid his man out.
Whoopah just pushed him back.
And now all of a sudden the ball's 10 meters out from the try line. The whistle went before Anderson. That is the second just tremendous collision with an Ohio player making his presence felt.
And you wonder why they call Jamie McIntosh Whoopah. That is the reason why.
Yeah, he might have taken the worst of it though as he's down there.
Clash of the Titans. Two big men getting into each other right there, but
sometimes that happens. The one that appears to have gotten the better of it, he might be the one that gets shaken up.
It was good defense nevertheless. Let's have a look at this. Sebastian Kalm holding his man up. Great defense from Ohio. The defense is brilliant. Go wide, and then right here.
That was Suneula holding his man up. Big hit there. There was no hit by McIntosh.
Yeah, we just
that might even have been an additional one.
Just out of your screen that went down, but nevertheless, Jamie McIntosh, the New Zealand homegrown, country of origin New Zealand, and there he is on your screen. Big man, nicknamed Whoopah. Stands at 6'5". 280 pounds.
Demekus Beach there, #1, and going up against him is no day at the beach either.
No, he's a big man himself, and I know there's a lot of guys that do the drive down from Toledo, Ohio, specifically to come and support him. He's got quite a big fan base. Captain Courageous there on the screening once again.
Davies will feed the scrum. So Ohio with a tremendous goal line stand, if you will, maintaining their very healthy margin, and that hurts San Francisco that they were not able to put points on the board there, and they were so close. Although they can still try to maybe do what Ohio did, force a turnover and score the ball deep in Ohio's side of the field, but clear it out back to midfield.
Davies not finding touch.
And they'll have a chance to build up from the back, which is what they do very well. But again, nowhere to go. Anderson.
The fence holding up. The knocked on, slight knock on, but nevertheless a knock on. And the scrum is going to be awarded to Ohio, the Aviators, and a lot of pressure has been relieved. 3 minutes to go in the first half.
Life is good.
San Francisco was on the verge of getting back into this, but now they're going to have to really brace themselves for an onslaught. If Ohio can score again before the half, it would really put San Francisco in a bad way.
It's Dominique Waldock. This Ohio backline is just so dangerous. Every time the ball goes wide, you're expecting something to happen. Now, San Francisco have to be very careful in that scrum. They cannot push until the ball is in.
Paul Barford, we mentioned before the game, saying Ohio, he felt they played about 80% capacity against Denver, and what he felt they needed more of was building phases of play more efficiently. They're getting a lot of opportunistic tries where they just break a player out in the open, he goes all the way, they work it wide, but they want that consistent play. And here's a chance to work on that right now.
That's backwards.
Ball mishandled momentarily, they get it back. And to make something out of it is
Ricky Hatting,
Reichard Hatting out of South Africa, the 8-man. And they are now at the 40. Davies had the ball knocked away from him by Taupusi, and it ended up in the grasp of Sam Finau. San Francisco came out and they made an errant pass. Nobody was there, and a whistle went. They had a play like that last week. They were on the verge of scoring against San Diego. They had everybody out wide. They put the ball right in traffic, and they never did score. Similar thing happened to them a moment ago. Another San Francisco player is down, shaken up.
Yeah, no. We're going to stop play here for a...
Yeah. No, we'll do it.
For that injury, so quick water break and that running clock and the screen.
Exactly.
They'll add on some additional time.
And you can see the guys just drinking the water. It's really hot out there, and everybody's got to throw a lot of water.
Of course, San Francisco,
Excuse me, please.
they have a very favorable climate that they play in. And last week when they won was in San Diego. They had very favorable climate. Ohio beat Denver at the 100+ degree heat and altitude. They're an extremely fit side. And coming back against them in conditions like this with the score at 24-6 this late in the half certainly is not an enviable task for San Francisco. Looks like the player it's been attended to is back in. Ready to feed the scrum here. He put in by Devereaux Ferris. San Francisco, they would love to get something right at the end of this first half if they can. And they're going to once again put this ball on the scrum. Didn't like the way it lined up there on the previous attempt.
Big job, boys. Time to get. Come on, crouch. Fine.
Of course, now no time showing on the clock. They play to the last conclusion of the final sequence after they reach the 80-minute mark, and they might have, as we said, the injury time added. And Ohio came out with the ball. There goes the horn. Ball is played forward by Davies. Almost collected there by Pila Hui.
I just hit him when I saw you did it. I was like,
But the whistle goes again. And that's going to be the end of the first half. So a dominant first half again by the Ohio Aviators. They go down 3-0. They scored quickly to take a 12-3 lead, then 12-6. After that, 2 more tries. And they have an 18-point bulge at the conclusion of the first half of play here against the San Francisco team that came in with 2 consecutive wins, including a win over Ohio under their belt. And perhaps looked like that this might be a very, very competitive match. And it may still be, but they've really got their work cut out for them, the Rush does, in the second half to fashion a comeback here. And of course, with players like Mulaina and Ionga out of the lineup and on the road here in these conditions, it was certainly, we knew it would be a tough task. Let's go down to Fricke Loubser with Coach Paul Barford.
Paul, what a fantastic first half. Was this what you guys expected? When we got 4 points on the board already, the bonus point is secure. Take us through that and give us your take on it.
You can never expect anything. San Francisco, a much improved team, but I was hoping to come out strong. That was our game plan. Come out very strong first 20 minutes. We've got the ball to our wings, who are our strength. We've got a little bit off our game plan, some stupid kicks and stuff. We'll get back into the second half, but so far so good.
It seems like you guys are winning the break points really well, and then the ball goes out wide quick. It's like playing with the back line, trying to get the ball to the wings. Would that be part of the strategy?
I think it's the part of the strategy for both teams. We seem to be a bit more accomplished at it right now. We certainly practiced it all week. We do have 2 big, strong wins, and we've got a good back line right now, so we want to move the ball quickly.
What can we expect from the Aviators in the second half?
I hope another 24 points, or maybe more, if things go to plan.
Well, good luck, then we'll wait for the second half.
Okay, thanks.
All right, well, 24, another 24 would only give them 48. That'd be the first time they didn't break 50 here in these home matches, so maybe they can get one additional try after that. 24-6 at halftime. Ohio tries by Spike Davis, Alex Elkins, Ryan McTiernan, and Sebastian Kalm, answered only by 2 penalty tries by Volney Rouse from San Francisco, brings us to a 24-6 Ohio lead at halftime here at Memorial Park. And as we've been doing, let's take a look at another very interesting rugby feature put together by Pro Rugby, this one entitled Come Together.
We're going pro!
We will see a new frontier, really.
Sportsmanship, hard work, hard attitude.
You're going to see the passion, the dedication, the ambition.
Let's go, San Diego!
Benvenuti in Ohio.
Let's go, Denver! Let's go, San Francisco! Let's go, Sacramento!
This has never been done.
I think it's an opportunity for Americans and people involved in this competition to show the rest of the world that, you know, American rugby is growing and it is going to be putting out a great product that people can rally and get behind.
You want some of this? You sure you want some of this?
Personally, I'm dead excited. It's, as you said, it's been a long time coming.
Rugby in some of its best form it's ever been on display in America.
And we have guys here, athletes, who are just unbelievable, best in the world.
Coming out, firing on all cylinders, ready to go like a bat out of hell.
The train's coming, you best get off the tracks.
Fireworks, man. I mean, we've all been working for this for a long time.
It's a huge step as far as for rugby in the world.
There's a lot of people that are passionate about this game, and this is a culmination of so many moments for so many people.
Really just expect firecrackers.
Get some, baby. Are you sure you want some of this?
Are you pumped?
Each and every one of us on this team wants to play at the highest level. So now that we actually have the opportunity and we got the platform to do it, we're going to go all out.
American rugby for the first time, a new style, something that's just going to be really exciting.
As the community, as a team, we're in it together. We're in it to win it. So that's all I can say. We're going to give you our best.
You heard me?
The spark is going to ignite as soon as we walk on that field. And you know, from there, the fire is going to catch, man. It's just going to be a forest fire.
There's really no more exciting sport to watch.
Get your tickets now!
It's going to be a communal experience for all walks of life.
Enjoy the game, support the players, and make this a big thing for the years to come.
It's a completely new brand. It's just athletic, physical, and I can't wait to get on the pitch. It's going to be something amazing.
There's a lot of people who are in this league who have been gunning for this moment for years, me personally 15 years. So when we get to go out there and they blow the whistle and we kick the ball off, you're going to see 15 years for me personally of bottled up energy going towards the opponent.
We're going pro!
Heck nah, keep the camera rolling, bro. Woo! In the corner, my friend.
Well, the passion's certainly very evident there, and quite likely the next really coming sport in America, and pro rugby, a very, very big part of that. 24-6, the Ohio Aviators leading the San Francisco Rush at halftime, and we'll be right back.
All right. Oh,
Where are you going?
we're going to come back.
Yeah, what do we need to ban? Ban of white, everything.
You hide your labels just a little bit. You guys hide your labels. No, on your cans. No, you don't need to hide your beers. Just kind of put your hands over the damn apple.
That's no way.
Hey, I'm coming all the way across, so everybody's got to look in front. No eating on TV. Well,
Back here, the Ohio Aviator fans very happy at Memorial Park as once again the Aviators seem to be defending their home pitch. They lead 24-6 at halftime. Greg Franke with Fricky Lobsher. And Fricky, as we take a look at these highlights, I think they're going to be very indicative of the game. Ohio generating a lot of offense, San Francisco settling for threes.
It was on offer right in the beginning, which is the right thing to do. But I think this is great rugby from Ohio. Like, look at this, the back line is firing. There you see Spike Davis going into his first try, or for the first try of the match. And the second one was by his opposite number, or the other wing, Elkins. And, you know, another fantastic try. Just two strong wings like we get to be accustomed to now at this stage. And then you saw another 3 points, but the threes just weren't enough. At the same time, you see another nice little stab there. You see Ryan went over there for the try.
That was off the turnover after they had just been turned aside by San Francisco. They turned it into points anyway, and then Calm here for this last one again.
Yeah.
More good passing down the line.
Just fantastic passing all around, and Calm just getting the 5 points right there.
24-6, as we said, that's quite indicative of what we saw in the first half. San Francisco is going to have to turn it around very, very drastically to get back in this match in the second half. Back here, getting ready for the second half, 24-6 Ohio. Ricky Lopes, you're standing by with Paul Keeler, San Francisco's head coach.
Well, looking at the first half, not what you wanted going out of it. Sure. Take us through what are we going to correct and what can we expect moving forward into the second half?
I think it's for us, we just started to chase the game. We were struggling a bit on defense. We started to chase the game, and we let ourselves get out of it a bit, trying to make things happen. I think we need to settle down, just play the way we can play, and get ourselves back in.
You guys are very also known for having a fantastic back line. It's one of your uppercuts, if you want to call it that. Was there a little bit of talk about that?
Yeah, it was just talk about getting our go-forward ball from our forwards, and putting the ball, not trying to chase them, keeping the ball in hand, and running the ball a bit more, and being a bit more patient, and not trying to make plays happen, as opposed to just play our systems.
Thank you, Paul. Good luck for the second half.
All right, ready to go for the second half as Ohio kicking to San Francisco. And Ohio's defense did a great job of shutting down that back line from San Francisco a few times. They had the ball. They looked like they had some space to work with, but just as quickly that space got taken away. And we'll see if they can do anything to counteract that defensive pressure that Ohio was putting them under in the first half of play. Early line out here, and Beach had it for a moment, but it bounded away from him. San Francisco is able to come up with control, but Ohio comes right back. The ball's kicked forward and nearly controlled, but the whistle finally goes. It looked like they might have a quick break going in the other direction.
Come on, let's get it back.
Yeah, once again, Ohio finds themselves on the attack.
Let's go, big swim.
After San Francisco had come up with the ball off that line out, but were again unable to make anything out of it.
Yeah, it just seems like San Francisco is playing too much rugby in their own half. When we spoke to the coach down in the field, they need to get the ball in the front foot. They need to get across the advantage line. They're playing catch-up rugby at the moment, and that's not good enough.
San Francisco feeding this scrum. And if they're going to get something started, they need to try to do something relatively early in the half and establish a new tone for this match as they work it out to the left side, but again, wave of blue and red awaiting their arrival.
Loud whistle. That's going to be a penalty against San Francisco. And this would be interesting to see what they decide to do, if they're going to go for goal or go for the line.
Well, they've got their bonus point secured.
So do you stretch the margin, or do you go in for the kill? And that question has been answered. They're going to go for 7 as they kick the ball out to and the line out that will be formed on the 25-meter line for San Francisco.
Well, only once were they turned back once they got that close to San Francisco's try line, and they turned that into a try immediately thereafter on the turnover that led to McTiernan going over. So they have confidence in their ability to score once they get into the red zone. Try to find Davis, but intercepted with the whistle there.
Yeah, no, that ball just, he couldn't hold on to it. And if he would have, Rose would have been gone for all money in the world.
And that would have changed this game around in a heartbeat.
Talking about changing this game around, San Francisco needs to put point on the board, and they need to do that quick. But as it stands, Sean Davies is going to feed the ball into the scrum, and this is a very, very favorable position. Backline for Ohio is laying down deep. Get the feeling that there's something that they've planned that's going to unfold right now.
And the ball comes out. There's Spike Davis. Look at him whirl away from 4 players, and he's going to go in. He was surrounded by half the San Francisco team, and he emerged all alone and practically untouched going across for the try.
Well, they decided to go to the blind side rather than taking the line, and here you see him, a bit of a spin, and he just worked his way through. And if you don't wrap him, you're not going to stop him. And over he goes for 5 points. You beauty.
Spike Davis from Dallas. Stayed at home to play college football at SMU, but certainly showing that he has adapted well to his new sport. And that was just an outstanding run as he showed great agility and balance as he whirled his way through several would-be tacklers.
And the formality.
And it is indeed a formality.
2 points.
And if San Francisco had thoughts of coming back in the game, now that task has been made even more Herculean as it's 31-6 for Ohio, and they appear to be placing their stamp of dominance on this match just as they have all the others that have been played here so far this year.
It's just amazing how they made this field their home field, and they're so strong. And once again, it took them 5 minutes into the half to put points on the board.
Sean Davies, despite the 2 missed kicks that were difficult kicks, one that he hit the crossbar on, he's having himself a productive day.
You know, and now pressure's coming in. This kick didn't go 10, so Ohio will get to put the ball in the middle of the field in a scrum. So these little things, the pressure is going to start mounting. There's a big deficit in the scores. It's definitely not favoring San Francisco at the moment, Greg.
19 unanswered points for the Ohio Aviators and counting after it was 12-6. But even when it was relatively close at the start of the game, there was the sense that San Francisco was trading 3 points for 7, and if they didn't get out of that pattern, they were headed for trouble.
Yeah, no, and the scoreboard will tell you the same story. Let's look at the scrum right in the middle of the field. Ohio can go either way.
And if they could score here, they could pretty well just break this game up. And with Waldock playing it out wide for Davis again. And they regroup here. That's what they want to do, is to be able to put phases of play together. And the San Francisco player came out and swept the ball away.
Yeah, that's playing the ball on the ground. That's illegal. That will be a penalty. The problem is that's most likely going to be a warning because it's malicious. See that kind of play again, you might even see a yellow card.
Figured he's going to take his ball and go home with it.
Yeah, you're not allowed to play the ball on the ground and not allowed to use the hands.
So they'll kick for touch, and this is like presenting Ohio with a golden chance to score yet again.
Yeah, this is where they found themselves about 2 minutes ago.
That was really not a smart play, to be honest.
No, it wasn't. And you're trying to stop the points. Let's look at this line out and see where they're going to go. If they're going to go to the middle or the back.
At least when they're out there,
you see
further out, you got some chance of mounting a defense. But once you get in close like this, they're very tough to stop.
Yeah, they try to maul it.
They do this very effectively. They're known for their forward pack's effectiveness, probably more so than any other team in pro rugby. Look at them advance the ball.
That is something that we do in Ohio quite a bit. The rolling maul is alive and well here in the state of Ohio. Well executed there.
Very well executed. They're practically pushing them all the way over.
If you're a coach, yes, and they're over.
There it is. How do you like that? A show of brute strength.
Sebastian Korn is going to grab the honors, but that's a team try. That is brute strength. If you're a coach watching rugby right now, take a look, replay it, show it to your team. Look at this. As they all come together, you even see Spike Davis joining in the fun.
And it does look like fun if you're wearing a blue jersey.
They roll it and they maul it, and then you're going to see them roll it to the side and over, and boom, they go 5 points for Ohio Aviators.
You're not going to stop those guys up high once they get going like that. And it's 36-6. Now, if that isn't a statement that we're asserting our will on this game and stop us if you can, that is it.
Speaks volumes, absolutely. A fantastic forward try. And you'll see Captain Davies see if he can add 2 points. A difficult kick. Stretch the lead with 32 points.
It's a very makeable kick for Davies. And And that one is going well.
Wow.
Yeah, boy. It just tucked inside that left upright. A fine conversion. And it is now 38-6.
Sean Davies has got his scope on. That was a fantastic kick from probably the most difficult part of the field to get a ball over.
Well, he zeroed his sights on those first two that he missed, and he has been dead on since.
It's unless San Francisco don't do something pretty soon, it's going to be a long flight home.
You're going to have to do a lot, and it doesn't look like very good odds for them, to say the least. That ball's still in play. Davies out for Waldock.
Got a quick throw in.
Cross wide. Here they come attacking the right. That's Suniula, the player just back from training with the USA Eagles. And they continue their forward progress. They show they can do it either way. They can run right over you, or they can go around you with equal facility.
And so there's a bit of hello. Let's have an orange juice later. Nice to have you here in Ohio.
Sam Finau stepped in there as peacemaker.
Yeah, just there's nothing really in it. Handbag stuff.
Well, coming into this match, and obviously San Francisco missing the services of Iyanga and Muliaina, but the way this match has been going, I think it would take a half dozen reinforcements to really alter the course of this game.
Absolutely. Using the substitutions wise, you want to save some of your key players.
Certainly you want to protect against injury. A lot of the players, a lot of the teams that are struggling right now, or at one point struggled, it was because of injuries. San Francisco early in the year, San Diego is really depleted by injuries now. So when you've got a 38-6 lead, there's no reason to chance it. Plus you get reps for your reserves, which is equally valuable.
That is correct. Loud whistle. Another mistake that creeps in for San Francisco.
Like a walk in the park there for Ryan Cochran, but
yeah, no.
Bring that back.
The pressure is mounting, the mistakes are coming in, and another penalty that's going to be awarded to Ohio. And once again, Waldock is going to kick that, and it's going to put some air on it. Oh, what a fantastic kick. It's going to be about 7 meters from the try line.
They're spending the whole second half down there deep in San Francisco's red zone.
Now, Greg, would your money be on another rolling mall, considering where
well, yeah, if you subscribe to the theory that you keep doing it until they show they can stop it, that's maybe what we should be expecting right now.
I would say for all bets, then let's see. One thing that I've noticed, where the ball goes into the line, and a quick throw. That's a quick throw. It's over.
Maybe they were expecting that. They're not going to count this though.
The referee said that the line has been formed already, so that will not count.
Dylan Fawcett took it over, but
well,
that was a little cheeky, I guess.
That is a hooker for you right there, the butcher, trying to cut off his piece.
Everybody was maybe expecting that they were just going to try to drive it in. Here we go.
Here goes the maul.
Now, what do you do if you're San Francisco after what happened last time?
Well, you're going to have to do something. There's a penalty because they bring it down illegally.
Fawcett has the ball. Trying to get in by another manner.
Waldeck.
Offloads to Waldock. He is stopped, but still have advantage. Ball released, and they're still going. The ball knocked down and a whistle.
No, they're going to go back.
They were giving advantage there.
It's going to go.
The official.
It's going to go against Nick Grass, I believe, for bringing it down. Allowed to bring the ball down.
Offside is called.
And I won't be surprised if they opt for the scrum here, Greg. Considering that they favored their... no, they went for the quick kick. They're going to have another line out. And once again, now for all money, I think they very well will do the same thing.
Line out to the Aviators.
And then again, I might be wrong. Maybe it's a backline move this time, but...
Well, they crossed them up. That, unfortunately, they had that apparent try called back, but they definitely fooled San Francisco after the way they mauled the last one over.
No, they're going to go for it again.
Once again, same straightforward approach.
Yeah, you almost saw Ryan Nick Grass there making the same mistake.
And there they go over.
Try is given.
They pop the ball forward and touchdown.
It's Filipino Ferrarini, the Italian that's going to get the honors and the points.
And once again, you could call it a team try.
Oh, most certainly. Let's have a look at ball spun loose.
Well, that was what happened. It went forward off the San Francisco player who came close to wrenching the ball free, and then Ferrarini just gathered it in.
You know what? It got stolen by San Francisco and then intercepted by Filippo.
So he goes in. No, that exactly looked like a Ferrari or a Stallion on that one. That was just more being in the right place at the right time.
They all count, Greg. That's another 5 points.
And there is Ryan Cochran, a local from Westerville.
That'll be his first attempt at goal.
And they are just running away from San Francisco. And that one is good.
Wow, that was a good solid kick.
45-6. The Ohio Aviators are absolutely dominant on this pitch here today against a team that beat them just 3 weeks before in San Francisco, which of course is a very, very important caveat in that. It's very difficult to win on the road, but San Francisco, they did just that last week against San Diego, but trying to play Ohio here on this pitch and these conditions is a much different proposition. And the Aviators with it again. They've been really playing and scoring almost at will here in the second half so far. Waldock again.
Yeah, you feel like the floodgates are open now, and Ohio's going to run everything. And another mistake there by San Francisco, and another penalty. And you know, they just cannot afford these penalties.
And of course, the word and all the evidence is indicating that San Francisco much better, stronger side than they had been at the start of the year. But if anything, this has been more one-sided than the season opener was.
Yeah, you know, that's true. And once again, a mistake very deep in Ohio's territory is turned around into Ohio being on the attack about 25 meters away from the try line.
And San Francisco is really, say what we will about, and certainly true about Ohio's dominance, but San Francisco is not helping their own cause in the second half either.
No, they're gonna have to blame themselves when they look at the tape. This is by far not their best stretch of rugby that I've seen in a long time.
It would be like allowing an American football team to start every drive from your 25-yard line. You're going to score a lot of points that way. San Francisco comes up with the ball. There's a bruising run. As the defender was toppled right over. Now they're going to try the left flank. The ball is swept away from Finau, but they get it back. And this is Sakalia. Ferris got it out, and they try the other side. Again, real estate hard to come by, as it has been all game. Waldock impeded that pass.
Still San Francisco cannot string anything together. Ball went forward of Waldock's hand, so there was a knock-on. So that hits the scrum down. At least San Francisco still have the possession, but they were going to have to run just about everything, even if it's from their own try line.
Ohio has given them very little room to operate. Ooh. They haven't kicked the ball deep. They haven't allowed Talpusi to orchestrate things, marshal an attack the way he did so well on the win over San Diego.
Yeah, Greg, and I mean that goes for not just for the fullback, but that goes for the wings. You have not seen a ball traveling down the back line to the wings. San Francisco is going to have to, take some blame for the scoreline here.
We haven't hardly called or any Ai's name at all. And he was so fundamental in their victory over San Diego. They have really shut off San Francisco's offensive weapons.
You know, and then let's give credit to Ohio for their rush defense, for basically
crouch,
grabbing all the space, so San Francisco cannot play their style of rugby.
They played it beautifully in that last game, but they were up against a team that played a very similar style. That scrum collapsed. San Francisco with a quick tap, and they go out with it.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes there's more room once the score balloons like this, but Ohio's keeping up the defensive intensity. Suneulo is right on top of his man. San Francisco, they keep working backwards with each successive phase of play. Calm came up with the ball, and Ohio goes back to work. Fawcett gets it out wide. A good tackle there laid on by San Francisco player there. That was Lil Ohia.
Nice little box kick in the gap.
They're going after it. Again, kicking for territory. Stays in play.
Fantastic kick.
San Francisco behind the back pass to try to keep it in from having the touchline win. Intercepted, and the ball put down and scored by Peter Malcolm.
Wow.
Ohio, there's a great example of putting pressure on the other team close to their own try line. They make a mistake, you capitalize.
Absolutely. And the half century is on the board.
For the 4th straight time in 4 home games for the Ohio Aviators.
And that's fantastic, and over he goes for 5 points. And that shows you, it's just the pressure which is mounting and mounting and mounting. An excellent little kick. Put the pressure, ball didn't go out, it stayed in the box, stayed in the corner. It forced them to play. And unfortunately the mistake, and then Peter picking that up and going over for a try.
Peter Malcolm played for the South Florida Trojans and at Wheeling Jesuit University, where they have a lot of great athletic programs.
Get the Ohio subs on.
Including rugby. And now the conversion try by Ryan Cochran. And I would honestly say, of all the home matches that Ohio has romped to victory in, this has been the most one side of the ball. It's probably the one that we were least expecting this kind of game.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, right in the beginning, when I was you look at the stats, you look at how both teams were performing, and specifically in the last 2 games, San Francisco coming up that beautiful win. If anything, you were expecting a close game, but Ohio just coming out today and putting their stamp of authority, you know, on this game.
40 consecutive points. It was once 12-6, and they almost made it 12-9, but Rouse missed that attempt that could have drawn them even closer, and since then it has been no contest.
And Greg, not just that, that was the last, that conversion that they missed was the last time they were almost in any sort of range of getting points.
Yep, they had a couple of early chances. They didn't take advantage, and the entire complexion of the match changed drastically from that time on. As you see the fans out enjoying the sunshine, there is a bit of a breeze here that makes it a little less exhausting as it seemed at first.
Well,
but they're certainly enjoying watching their team roll up this big score. Right now, it's hard to see. If you look at the teams in pro rugby, the only other team that appeared to be sort of on the upswing instead of maybe trying to stabilize things from going downward, it was San Francisco. And look at this. It's night and day out here. It's some great passing here. And they really showed early on. That's Calm and Davis with 2 tries apiece, and each one been very well earned.
No, absolutely. Let's just look at this try, and you know, like I said, if you're not going to hold him down, you're going to need more men to assist. Here, Sebastian Calm goes over. I mean, what a fantastic player! Like you say, started at 8, playing flank now, and then that magnificent ball team try.
Calm ended up getting that, and minus his green hat even. But the whole team, you see,
he had to throw everything at it.
Yeah, they were all celebrating that one. We still have nearly 20 minutes to play, and it's 52-6. There's been, I can't recall a match in pro rugby that has been to the proportions of this one, especially if it continues in this vein for another 20 minutes.
Well, this game has have the liking of putting some sort of a record for pro rugby in regards to scoreline, and I would hope that San Francisco, you know, will join the party and put a stop to that. But we're going to go down for a scrum.
fed by Cochran.
And it will be interesting to see if Ohio is going to change tactics in the likes of kicking the ball, and if they are going to run just about, deep in their own half, and it seems they're going to be running it.
Zach Mizell played it out. He's done a capable job in Taylor Howden's absence. By the way, congratulations to Taylor Howden for the birth of his son, William. He was in very good spirits about that, and despite the fact that he had to sit out today's game.
This player went off his feet. Poacher had his hands on the ground.
Quick tap, San Francisco on the attack, and there's Rouse. Seen him do very little outside of kicking, but here he breaks away. Feeds the ball off to the left, and again the defense recovers. And that's the fitness of Ohio. They get a breakaway run, but the defense is right back on top of them.
Now I want to point something out here. If you look at some of the forwards for the San Francisco team, kind of walking towards the rugs, and the shoulders are dropping, and that's never a good sign.
That was what the Ohio coaches were saying before the game, is you get a breakaway run, but late in the game, especially in these kind of conditions, if you don't have 2 or 3 guys running right with them, then it really doesn't help you that much.
Doesn't help you. So you're going to argue, is it a fitness thing, or is it just the score line that's bringing you down, or
maybe
is it a bit of both?
combination of the two. It certainly is not a fun time to be down 52-6.
Fine.
Not that there ever is one. So they turned that threatening situation into another opportunity to feed the scrum.
Yeah, Ryan Cochran does that. Ricky coming up from it.
There goes. It is Elkins. Go out to the left. Great snag of that ball, and then out wide. Well, that is Elkins there. And he runs over 2 would-be tacklers and finally ends up into touch, what they call a high tackle.
Now another mistake that creeps in from San Francisco.
22.
Going to be the high tackle. Ohio now having all the cards in their hands.
Elkins just rampaging. Jack O'Hara just threw him out, but again, you saw the high tackle and heard the official call it. And that means they're going to be feeding a line out just a couple of meters shy of the try line again.
Yeah, no, they're about 10 meters out.
Now they're going to place it, back up around 10 meters. But still, that's a very favorable location for the Aviators.
Now, Greg, do you think we'll see another maul?
I'd keep going back to it if I were them. Why not?
If it's working for you, why change it, right?
Not only that, just for the psychological impact you can have on the opponent when you're able to score like that. And Ohio's, they haven't had the heaviest of the pack weights either, but they're just so strong and their technique is so good.
Here goes the
Here
maul.
we go. San Francisco, again, trying to do anything to derail
that blue
this
blanket.
this blue machine heading toward that try line. And they finally ground it a couple of meters away, but they still have the ball. And there goes Beach, getting close.
Beach was reaching for it, a couple of inches short. That is the try line. They're right there.
Man, they get it out wide. Waldock tried to kick it forward. It was blocked and a whistle.
Yeah, no, the whole back line for San Francisco is offside, and I think that's why Waldock opted for the little chip kick to get it over, which was blocked.
Time's off.
Giving advantage there again.
Captain.
Nevertheless, and this will be a warning. The referee is now going to say, if I see this again.
So we've had a couple of different infringements, but specifically defensive of all down here. They must keep it up, or someone will go off, and we're thinking possible penalty try, all right? They need to defend it legally. Have a word.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The referee said if I see another infringement of this nature to prevent malicious or illegal play, I will send somebody off. That will be a yellow card. So
kick for try again, another line out opportunity here. San Francisco might be saying, hey, we got to do what we got to do.
But he was also using the term penalty try. So if he thinks it's malicious enough, he's going to give a penalty try.
Score is already out of hand here.
Once again, they go up for the maul.
Finds a jumper, and they go again.
Good.
This has just been a tear for Ohio. They just can't be stopped.
And they got it again.
They're across.
To see who gets up with the ball. Trying to have a look there. Who's
difficult to see from our vantage point?
Is that Ryan Cochran? I think he's going to
be. They give it, yeah, he's going to convert too. So he was the one who was kicking the earlier one. So I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, I think he's going to take the honors for that try.
Ryan Cochran.
Let's have a look here. If he can.
Second time we've seen this, and they just cannot counteract this.
See where he snuck in. Oh no, it's definitely not him.
Oh, they just gave him the ball for the conversion attempt.
No, that will be Dylan Fawcett, the hooker. Dylan Fawcett, the butcher, and he cut his slice of the pie off right there.
Now, when you're a rugby side and you've been scored on twice in this manner, really 3 times, what do you do? There's not much you can do to defend if the other team can just go straight forward like that as it goes across the face, and the score stays 57-6.
Greg, maybe there's not much you can do now, but as a coaching staff and as a team, you want to go home and you want to learn and you want to practice how to defend against it, because what Ohio has now effectively done is they found a hole in the armor, and they're drilling it and they're playing it to their advantage, and you can see they're going to keep on doing it.
So technique-wise, what can they try to do? Go low, try to tackle them lower, or what?
You have to go lower. You're going to have to compete better at the ball.
There we go again. A quick break for Calm, and he offloads it nicely, and once again to Fawcett. Fawcett trying to outleg his man. Gave it off for Malcolm. Malcolm had already gone in for a try earlier. Cochran feeds it out, and they continue to put pressure on. Attacking wide with a good ball, and they're across again.
What a fantastic try.
That was tremendous ball movement.
From one side to the other side of the field, crisscross, over in the corner is Ahmad, who normally plays in the 15 jersey and come in as a substitution today. And over we go for 5 points.
Harali from Dearborn, Michigan.
Yeah. Ahmad, what a fantastic player. Finds himself this time at the last pass and then running it in for 5 points. But an overall team try, working it from their own side of the field. The ball handling, just about every player on the field. And then Ahmad ending it off in the corner for 5 points.
Well, this is quite impressive because they've shown that they can just run right over you. But they've also shown that they can play beautiful rugby out in the open spaces.
Hence Champagne rugby, Greg.
Yes, indeed.
See if Ryan
lift goblets to this entire performance. And this is not only, that one gets through, hit the upright, I believe, and then bounded in the right way.
And here's the thing, except for the tries that's being scored, you're seeing quite a kicking display from Ryan Cochran as well, as he's slotting these kicks.
Yeah, for any reason, they would have to insert him into that position. He's certainly shown he's very capable. But I was going to say, this performance isn't only for this match. This has to be a message to the whole. This is like throwing down the gauntlet to the whole rest of the league. San Diego's coming in next. Denver has yet to appear on this pitch. There's a possibility that that could be for the first inaugural Pro Rugby Championship.
And Greg, as the newspapers correctly said, you know, Ohio going into this competition for pro rugby, nobody really gave them a chance. And here they are, I think it's fair to say, after today's game, on top of the log.
Despite the fact that they have 3 losses, Denver has sustained only 1 in the last match against Ohio. San Francisco attacking now, but it's all academic at this stage, but still it would be good for their self-esteem, I guess, to be able to put in a couple of, they would still have some hope for a bonus point, but 4 tries at this stage is a tall order.
Well,
they'd like to just get 1.
That's what I'm thinking, is even if it's the last 10 minutes, get it together, string a couple of good plays together and get some points on the board so you have something to take with you moving forward.
You know, they've got to somewhere along the line just think that, hey, we played this team a few weeks ago and beat them. Granted, it was on our home field, it was in different conditions, but we can compete against this team, just despite what's happened today.
Well, let's see if the Ohio defense is going to hold up.
Out it goes for Fuka.
You know, it will show some heart and character. I know Ohio's got a big buffer, but let's see if they give up any, any points.
Fuka was a former teammate of McIntosh for the Ohio Aviators.
Still the defense is holding tight. That's the try line in the back.
One of the very few times they've been this close to the try line. And now forward is Michael Haley.
Try line is lurking.
They're very close, but not over yet. This is where Ohio really gets tough. We've seen them hold off many opponents this close to pay dirt. And the ball is released. They'll try to play it out wide, but again,
that's a loud whistle.
No cigar.
See what the referee has awarded the penalty try. For a moment there I wasn't sure, but no, referee giving the penalty try right in the middle of the upright as he should.
Close, yeah.
Place to give it.
Yeah, I mean, that is the official time.
Place where it will be awarded.
Well, very small consolation at this point.
Rose is going to drop kick it to save some time. That's good, so that's an extra 2. I like the intent. He wants to get it, wants to get it over with. Save some time. Let's play on.
Have a plan.
We would need a couple of more 7s to get to that score of 64. Yeah, so
so the conversion of that enhances San Francisco's score slightly.
Yeah, there's
still trailed by a factor of 8, but and really when they got that close down, I mean, they were hoping for 5 in a conversion.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So it's really not a case of going to be all that happy about it. Penalty called here on the Aviators, and they will kick for touch, and they'll feed the line out.
Yeah, that's going to get him out of trouble. Basically, right in the middle of the field.
Blue, hold that line.
So the penalty try and conversion brings us to 64-13. And it is at least double figures for San Francisco.
Knock on first.
It's not quite the same thing as scoring because you get it in yourself, but they'll take it. And they still have time to try to enhance their score a bit more here.
Yeah, as we see a bit of a stronger crosswind coming up, and the sad part is for San Francisco, it's kind of pushing against them, so making it even slightly tougher. Playing against the wind.
Set. Stay there, 9. They're 23. Stay there.
Scrum. And here come the Aviators again. It looks like practice the way they've been just passing the ball so effectively from hand to hand. Here's Elkins, 2 guys trying to bring him down. He gets it off the wall duck, and they score again. That should get them over the 70 mark.
And Elkins holding off 4 or 5 guys and then getting the pass out to Walduck.
That is Walduck. They must have done a jersey switch with Suniula.
But look at this. 1-2. Getting out of those tackles. And then offloaded to Walduck. And Walduck is always going to run that in for 5 points. Great support play by the outside center. Even better play by the wing.
Now San Francisco, they just have to try to control the ball the best they can, because it's clear that whenever Ohio gets it, they can operate practically at will in whatever manner they need to. Either with just brute force, as we've seen, those rolling mauls that they've just driven right over the try line, or out in space with their expert pinpoint passing.
Well, now he's kicking like a machine. These things are just going over.
Just like extra points in American football. And they crash over the 70-point barrier. And with just over 5 minutes to go, they just really look like an unstoppable machine.
And yet again, San Francisco is going to restart this game. And that wind's going to push it back. And Sebastian
Calm is off to the races again. And he chips it forward, trying to run onto it.
Excellent foot skills.
Putting a lot of pressure on. They both dive for it.
And there's going to be a 22 drop in.
Calm made a supreme effort there to get to that ball.
As Jake Anderson won that foot race, not by a lot. Sebastian Calm showing that he can, he's got some foot skills too. You know, Chile is also known for their soccer.
Yeah, I'm sure he played some soccer along the way too. There's Fawcett taking that kick. And he's at the 22-meter line. Cochran, who's very, very good in reserve in this match. Walduck again.
Excellent
playing
grubber
the ball
kick
forward, and they just clear it off the line.
That's one of the best grubber kicks I've seen in a long time. Well executed, getting it right in the corner, leaving his opposite number to kick it out with not a lot of space on the field. The angle was not a lot to work with, and when they tried to kick it out, they only found a little bit of touch, and the Ohio team is going to find themselves right on the 22-meter line in a very attacking position, and I will not be surprised if they one more time try this rolling maul.
This has been the story of the second half. It was 24-6 at the half. San Francisco got their points just off that penalty try. They've basically been stymied for the entire half.
There it got stopped.
Where Ohio, we're looking at going over the half-century mark for one half of play. And it really doesn't look like they'd be denied.
Elkins is just carrying bodies with him as he's edging his way closer to the try line.
They're just exerting complete and total physical dominance of this match. Right there, they mishandle the ball.
Yeah, no, he took his hands off just then at last second for the knock-on.
That's about the only thing that has been able to stop them.
Yeah, too eager to get the ball out. Too many opportunities maybe. He should have slowed it down a little bit. The knock-on, and San Francisco gets out of jail.
This is what you don't want to see so late in a game that's long decided. Player going down. Hopefully he's not in too much discomfort. So he's being attended to by the training staff. Well, I think the question around pro rugby after this game is going to be, can anyone stop these guys?
Can anybody stop these guys? I mean, and that's a valid question. We will have to see next week when San Diego come and accept the challenge. So for all the San Diego viewers out there, this will be the Ohio team that San Diego will be playing.
Fine.
They better be all hands on deck for that one. San Francisco going to feed this scrum here. I You got to hope that their internationals are back and that their injured guys are healthy and they can, their whole complement of players, throw their whole team out at Ohio in that game, or close to it at least. Although San Francisco has been close to full strength with the exception of 2 important absences, and you see what's happening out here.
Yeah, as this clock is running down, there's no real structure for the San Francisco team. Rose trying to hit the ball wide, and that's going nowhere.
And Rouse is one of the top players in the league, and he's just been almost completely neutralized. And there you see the Ohio Aviators had the record for most points in a match, and they have shattered that record. Not just broken it, shattered it today.
Absolutely shattered it. Well, they shot a Sidewinder missile into that old record of theirs. And once again, maybe a last line out. And at this point, I'm putting money on the rolling maul.
That's the important stuff.
This time they're going to the back, switching it up a little bit.
San Francisco comes, so maybe they just want to try some different things in game conditions. They've pretty well established what they're capable of doing, and maybe not run up the score, but definitely anybody else, probably the best opportunity for a try for San Francisco in this whole game that they generate on their own, and Jack O'Hara will take it all the way down and score.
Yeah, that'll be the consolation try.
And that will get them quite likely to the 20-point mark and make this thing look a little bit more respectable. And that is an example of the way their back line was functioning in the last match against San Diego in the middle of a really close competitive contest, not at the tail end of a game that was already well out of hand. And there's the whistle. The match is concluded as you see O'Hara going in. So the Ohio Aviators move into first place in pro rugby, although the Denver Stampede still have a game to make up, a game in hand on the Aviators, but they're going to need to play almost perfect rugby here from here on in, because it doesn't look like they're going to have much of a margin for error if they're going to turn that final meeting at Ohio into possibly a game for all the marbles in the league, which would certainly be very exciting. But Ohio, as you see Beach there, very happy with the performance, as the entire team certainly can take a lot of satisfaction in the way that they came out and took care of business here today. We've got a couple of Ohio Aviator players that are getting into position. The stars of this match, and of course there were many of them. And they'll be chatting with Ricky Lopesher very shortly. There's Jamie McIntosh, and certainly when you get that rolling maul going with him in front of it, it is going to be very difficult to stop. You do not expect, you see Coach Keeler, I guess he has to realize that he might as well smile about it and congratulate the opponents for playing a great match, because they were full value for it, and sometimes that's what happens when you get a great team on a great day.